Listen, before we start, I just want to say, personally, thank you. And I'm glad you could be here.
Well, I'll tell you something, Tad. It wasn't my first instinct.
Yeah, I know, I heard. What changed your mind?
Well, maybe if the victims of the crash can rest a little easier if we light a fire on the Transglobal. And...
Hi, I'm sorry. Am I late?
No, as far as I'm concerned, as long as you're in your seat before the red light goes on, you're early.
Great. How about a couple of extra seats for Haley and Mateo? They've been doing some information digging on their own on Transglobal, and they've got some things to say, I think.
You back in our old line of work?
Well, for a good cause.
No kidding. Welcome.
What'd you find out?
You ever hear of the Coreview Group?
No.
Well, you shouldn't. It's the parent company to Transglobal Air.
The not-so-proud parent company, the way they've been hiding themselves.
They have a lot to hide. Mateo did some digging and found all these fake purchase orders for parts they never received.
Fake purchase orders for airplane parts?
That's right. Kind of makes you wonder what they've been putting inside their planes.
And who's at the helm?
You gave the order to cut 10% out of Transglobal's hide. I warned you then. In an operation like ours, that could be lethal. Do you remember what you said?
Well, all I said was do what had to be done.
And God help us, we did. Pink slipped a couple hundred people, forced the others to work twice as hard. You can't bully an airline, Mr. Chandler. You don't give it what it needs, it doesn't fly.
I didn't ask you to risk people's lives.
Do what has to be done. We knew what that meant. So did you.
It meant that Transglobal was never going to show a profit. A decent profit, unless some sacrifices were made.
Sacrifices. We made sacrifices, all right. Human sacrifices.
That's enough.
There's going to be more. If you don't ground every plane in this fleet.
I said that's enough.
Oh, well, that was close. I thought we were going to miss our flight.
Would you please tell me where we're going? You know I hate surprises.
Well, we're going to celebrate your reconciliation with Adam in style, darling. We're going to paint the town.
Any town in particular?
Well, think nonstop action 24 hours a day.
Sarajevo?
The Great White Way.
Mother?
Right, we're going to New York, darling. Where else?
That was so thoughtful of you.
Welcome to Transglobal Airlines.
Thank you.
And welcome to Cutting Edge. You know, it's a rare week on this show when one of my guests doesn't claim to be a survivor. It means they've made it through anything from a celebrity divorce to a bad hair day. But today on the show, we've got the genuine article, Survivors of a Real-Life Nightmare. By now, many of you have seen their faces on the evening news. Brooke English and Edmund Gray, two of four survivors of the cliffside crash of Transglobal Flight 149. Tragically, Edmund's wife, Maria, was among the victims in that crash. Joining us today, along with Edmund and Brooke, is Maria's brother, Mateo Santos, who, along with his wife, Haley, after conducting their own investigation, has some very interesting things to say about the circumstances surrounding that crash. For the record, we invited Transglobal to be a part of this discussion. They declined. Apparently, they couldn't come up with any of those happy, friendly people you see on all their commercials. Brooke, I understand that upon making your own inquiries into the crash, you feel you were stonewalled by Transglobal?
Yes, they have been very uncooperative.
Well, before we get into that, I wonder if you could recreate for us the events that transpired just before the crash.
It was a Transglobal flight from New York to Pine Valley. It was supposed to be a short flight. The first 20 minutes or so were very smooth, you know, uneventful. And then there was a bang. It was loud, like a gunshot. And the plane swerved. The whole plane swerved, like it was hitting a speed bump. And then there were screams. And there was another bang. and there was a sensation as though the floor were falling away. The floor was falling away from our feet. I remember that Maria reached out to touch Edmund's hand. I guess it all happened in just a few seconds. I don't remember the impact. I'm told that's not uncommon. When I woke up, I just remember being very cold. And there was a smell of jet fuel and fire. And I remember hearing Maddie crying somewhere.
Edmund and Maria's baby.
Yes.
You saved her life.
No.
No.
Maria saved Maddie's life. I couldn't save Maria. I left her on that damn plane to die.
Brooke. That's not true. Brooke, you did everything you could for Maria. And I'm ashamed that I haven't said it before. But thank you, Brooke. With all my heart. Thank you. Some good news for a change, Adam. Looks like you'll be able to unload Corview after all. I found a buyer. Our interested party has been eyeing Transglobal for a while now, watching the numbers. They're happy to buy when we're down on our luck. So the price isn't what you'd like, but at least you'll be rid of this whole mess.
No. It'll follow me forever.
Now, as soon as we work out the details, you'll disappear in a blaze of paperwork. No one need ever know you were connected to Transglobal.
I'll know. I caused the crash of 149. Those people are dead because of me.
You're never to say those words again. I'm the only person you've said this to, I hope.
Yes.
Good. I'm bound by attorney-client confidentiality. Look, there's a certain amount of risk in every business.
Is that what the crash of Transglobal 149 is all about? Business as usual? The great American loophole?
Call it what you like. You're not liable for what happened.
I issued an order. Transglobal's operating costs were to be cut by 10% or kiss your careers goodbye. Well, I had one purchasing manager who was quite the company man. He bought bargain basement blades for the turbine engines. And the blades failed. And the planes crashed. And people died. But by God, I got my 10%.
Adam, you can't accept responsibility for that.
Why not? I accepted the profits.
You didn't know.
Well, I know now. And I also know what I'm going to do about it.
Nothing too foolish.
I'm going to ground every one of the planes in Transglobal's fleet and change every blade in every engine.
Shut down the airline, it'll cost you millions.
I don't give a damn.
The press will be all over us. They'll learn about the turbine blades. And the company I lined up to buy Corview will disappear. Grieving relatives will sue Transglobal Airlines down to its last bag of beer nuts. And when your connection to Corview is discovered, it'll ruin you, Adam. You'll spend the rest of your life in court and end your days without a penny to pass on to your children.
What's the alternative? I've got to fix those planes before another one falls out of the sky.
And you will. You'll continue to take each plane out of service one at a time, quietly. Replace the blades, tighten a nut or two, whatever, and send it back up. Meantime, you play the odds against another crash.
I didn't get where I am. Leaving it to the fates.
It won't be for long. As soon as you sign the deal to sell Corview, Transglobal will be someone else's problem.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You don't have to like it. You just have to live with it.
And if another plane fails, it's not my life that's at stake, is it?
I can't believe we're still sitting on the runway.
Well, we are flying transglobal. Maybe it's just as well.
Oh, darling, I'm not going to let one freak accident keep me off the only direct flight from Pine Valley to Fifth Avenue.
Oh, of course not. After all, we need to shop till we drop.
Well, that's not funny. No, anyway, darling, I'm serious. After that awful crash, I think they must be triple checking everything. Transglobal's probably the safest airline in the world today.
Well, I'm sure you didn't have a problem getting a ticket, did you?
Look, if you're really worried, we can rectify that.
No.
Stewardess, excuse me, could you bring me an extra dry martini? Do you want anything, darling?
No, thank you.
Extra dry martini. Thanks.
How many extra dry martinis did you drink when you were pregnant with me?
I told you your father cut me off for the entire 9 months. Oh, it was much harder than the morning sickness, I'll tell you that.
Well, thank you for enduring both.
Larry was a great father, just like Adam's going to be.
And what makes you think that? Just because he hasn't raised any of his own children?
Well, it's going to be different with this time because he's never met anyone like you before, darling. I mean, you're his equal, you're his other self. This time he'll be able to raise his own child right from the beginning with a woman he's madly in love with.
Well, I do know that Adam has never abandoned any of his children. I think he has possibilities. If I keep an eye on him, I think he could be a wonderful father.
Then you're going to be a wonderful mother.
And you are going to be an astonishing grandmother.
Oh, definitely, darling, definitely.
At this moment, passengers, we request that you put your seats in an upright position
finally.
and fasten your seatbelts.
Well, let's hope you don't ever reread Auntie Mame.
I've been given the all clear, and we're ready to take off.
I agree.
I live through that plane crash every time I close my eyes. I'll never know why I lived. And Maria died.
Listen to me. Why you and I lived, it's a question for God. Why Maria died, that's a question for Transglobal.
Whenever I ask any questions about the crash, the company shoves grief counseling down my throat like there's a problem with me because I want to know why my sister died.
Well, grief counseling can be helpful.
Transglobal doesn't care about our grief. They're afraid of our anger.
They've been shoving settlement money down our throat. I mean, before the dust had time to settle from the crash.
Really?
Transglobal has debts to pay, but it isn't debts that they can pay in dollars and cents. Maria Santos was a loving wife and a devoted mother, a loyal sister and a compassionate doctor. And what is the going rate for a life like that? You can't repay the people that Maria loved with money or with counseling. The only way that you can repay people is by telling them the truth. Transglobal owes Edmund and Mateo and me and Maria the truth about what happened that night. And they owe it to all of the victims and all of the survivors of Flight 149. And as long as people fly on that airline, they are playing Russian roulette. And I hope to hell that the person who is responsible for this disaster never has a day of peace.
You know, a few weeks ago, you blanched at the thought of being called grandmother. And now you are playing it to the hilt.
Oh, you find this amusing, do you?
No, I think it is very, very sweet.
By the way, what are you going to name the little one?
I don't know. I mean, I think I've been so busy trying to carve a place out for it in the world, I never thought about what I'd name her when she arrived.
Well, I've got a great idea. How about Colby?
No.
Why not? It's perfect for a little girl or a little boy. Oh!
Who's that?
Oh, no, darling. I hope you're not going to panic every time we hit a little air pocket.
Mother, of course I'm going to panic every time. I mean, does that look like it's good news?
No.
Passengers, we ask that those of you not in your seats, please return to them now, and that all of you fasten your seatbelts once again. There's no cause for alarm, but as a precaution, the pilots decided to turn the plane around and return to Pine Valley Airport. Again, there is no cause for alarm. Once Once you've deplaned at Pine Valley, we will transfer you to another aircraft, and you'll be on your way to the Big Apple.
You're a good actor. I'll grant you that.
Bye-bye.